Thanks for joining us for God's Word. Now we have a shift. We're not to the Garden of Gethsemane yet, I don't think. But Jesus has finished addressing the disciples now, and now he's going to talk directly to his Father. Now this is not the prayer that he had in the Garden of Gethsemane where he said, Father, if it be your will, let this cup pass from me, where he just had Peter, James, and John and went off by himself. But this is a prayer that he prays right in front of them. It's a different prayer, and there's a lot in it. But verse 1, Jesus spoke these things that he had said to the disciples, and then, lifting his eyes up to heaven, he said, Father, the hour has come. Glorify your Son, that the Son may glorify you. All through God's Word, especially in the book of John, you have attempts to kill Jesus, and it says his hour hadn't come. And we talked about that Sunday where Lottie Moon said, I'm convinced that I'm immortal until my work is done. And then we looked at Peter and we looked at Paul, and both of them, God told them when their work was done and they knew they were going to be martyred. So, I'm really convinced of that. But now Jesus' work is done except for his crucifixion on the cross. But he always referred to that as his being glorified. Listen to John 12, 23 and 24, which we had looked at, of course, before. Certain Greeks had come to Philip and they said, we want to see Jesus. And Philip went to Andrew and said, hey, there's some Greeks here that want to see Jesus. And so Andrew goes to Jesus and he says, there's some Greeks that want to see Jesus. And here's what Jesus says. The hour has come for the Son of Man to be glorified. Truly I say to you, unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it bears much fruit. These Greeks want to see Jesus. Now, what do you mean? He's going, they want to see me. They need to see me the way I am after I've been crucified and buried and resurrected so that they can be saved. That's the Jesus they need to see. And he was saying, John 12, so much of John is dedicated to the last few days of Jesus' life. He's saying, hang in there, Greeks, because somebody's going to tell you about the crucified, buried, and resurrected Jesus. So whenever he spoke about the hour for him to be glorified, he was talking about the hour for him to be crucified, buried, and resurrected in his glorified body. And so, first thing he says when he's talking to the Father, okay, Father, it's time. So that the Son might be glorified, so that I might glorify you. Yeah, and he was. Okay, have a wonderful day.